Welcome back to the channel, everybody. Welcome to Lifestyle by SK, where wine, cigars, and relationships create that tapestry of extraordinary experience. And on today's topic, people, this is a good one. Got a real good topic for us here. As I'm going through this topic, it's definitely going to be for education and entertainment purposes. I want to be able to tap into you all soul with this particular topic. I want it to hit, I want it to hurt. I want it to be a wake up call. I want it to be whatever it is it has to be to get your attention because it definitely needs to be talked about. And this is not only through my experience, but also just living through life and seeing and hearing different stories of people going through it. We got to actually have it. But what I want to look at today is I want to look at in this video the Black men, college, and legacy specifically. And I always like to try to create the positive videos in order to fix the issues and talk about the issues that go on with Black men within our community. And if we can get the Black men in control, we can get them on the proper path. It's no telling how far that will go when they run into the right young lady out there. So this video is definitely going to be speaking to somebody out there. Maybe your cousin, maybe your baby daddy, somebody. Like, we got to talk about something real, you all. College versus trade for Black men. And being a Black man, African American, born and raised in the US, if you fit any of those descriptions there, this is not from a mainstream lens. Like, this is definitely talking to one, this is definitely something speaking on behalf of, like, how can we get to creating the legacy and the relationships? Because here's the thing, college is often pushed so much as the only way and only means that you can survive in today's world. And we know that that is absolutely not true. And being someone who has worked for years in corporate America and also known people that have owned businesses, other Black people that have owned businesses, like, you have to understand that a college degree is not the only means. That doesn't guarantee that you're going to get a job. That is showing that you know how to follow instruction in a guided environment. Now, when you look at different statistical data that's on this, it will most definitely surprise you. It will most definitely surprise you, because what I've seen more of, just talking to people, I've seen and heard from I've seen and heard of it from both sides. I've heard from Black men who are in corporate America, who have your white collar jobs, who are executive vice presidents and VPs. I've heard from those like kind of guys. And I also heard from the men out there who are your blue collar workers, who may drive your sanitation, garbage trucks, janitorial services, the businesses that may create carpentry, masonry, electrical, plumbing, technology in terms of like network and data cabling, system administrators, and different things like that. Like, I've talked to different kinds of men in these areas, and what I'm seeing more of now is that college is not the only thing that should be pushed. Now, I do notice in our community, when the Black women get advanced college degrees, and I literally saw this. I remember seeing this on the cruise ship. Lady turned around and said, "I just got my doctorate degree," and some random Black ladies just started, "Oh, girl, that's so good, this, that, and all that." But I rarely have seen that same attitude, same celebration when most Black men do get those advanced degrees of the same nature. But I'm not as much stuck on the degrees. If you have a skill that's going to be able to feed your family and create a business that's going to help your family create a legacy, and you leave it behind for your children to actually be able to benefit, and your grandchildren to be able to benefit from that. But not every Black man is built for the classroom, you all. And it's okay if we accept that particular thing because that is not a negative thing. My thing has been this: if you're not getting the college degree, you're likely probably serving in the military. You still are able to travel the world, still able to get a really good job, still able to get retirement if you choose to stay in there for the number of years that you need, still able to get the benefits and all of that. I've known guys and men who have been in the service that has done that. I've also known men who've been in the service that went into corporate America. I've also seen men who've been in the service and opened up their own businesses. And that is fine. A trade, when you have a trade, people, it literally builds freedom, not just employment. When people have a trade, carpentry, masonry, data cabling, network administration, plumbing, but most of you know electrical, plumbing, masonry, carpentry, like those things like that, construction and all that kind of stuff. Those those jobs build freedom. The ladies may not like to see a guy dirty all the time walking down the street, but little do they know that man may own his own business and he is doing very well, especially if he has his own business. And I think a lot of times, I think a lot of people literally think just because somebody's in a suit that they make more than six figures a year. I've had this conversation before. I feel like I've had this conversation with you all so many times before, but it's very important that we look at how this is going to take its turn because the power of a trade is a skill, and a skill pays the bills, but it also builds legacies. Ladies, imagine that you are with a man who has a trade, who has his own business, and you all have children, whether you have all daughters or all sons or a mix of both. But in a just for the sake of the video, ladies, you get married to a guy, you get married to a man who has a trade, you all have a son. That man teaches his son that skill and trade. Your son grows up and has kids, and he teaches his son that trade. So now you got three generations of a business that's building, that's feeding your family so that you all can trickle that money down through generations. Would you take a guy, would you take a man who has built a six-figure plus business through a trade with no college degree versus taking a man who has a college degree and making six figures? I'm gonna twist some of you all up out there. Think about that. If both of the men, blue collar, white collar, if they both made six figures a year, one worked for corporate America and worked for somebody else, and he gets a paycheck from that company versus the man who started the business and has a trade and makes six figures, which one would you take, ladies? I ask this question from the angle of getting our community to open our eyes, which can definitely make sense of why we have the highest rate of unmarried women within our community. That's one of the factors is they're saying there's not enough quality men that's out there. But what will qualify that man to be of quality to you, ladies, if you are only choosing a specific subset of men who always wear suits all the time? That's not bad. You're looking more times of past the average guy that may be starting that business, but you're always looking for the guy who is at the top tier instead of building with someone. That's the I want us to be able to get our eyes open up here because you can start a business, you can hire people, you can pass it on. A VP of mergers and acquisitions at Chase Manhattan cannot will his job to his kids. But a gentleman who's the carpenter, who's built a family construction business, can will the business to his grandkids. He can will it to his kids, his sons. He can pass that down. Whether you're in plumbing, HVAC, and I forgot to include HVAC in there as well. Electrical, carpentry, automotive technician, forgot to include automotives in there. Those are high earning jobs with low debt paths. The high debt paths is the mantra of parents telling kids, go to school, go to college, and get a good job. If you've never read one of Robert Kiyosaki's books, he talks about rich dad, poor dad. And he had a dad who didn't go to college, who ventured off into real estate, done very well, made multis and millions of dollars a year, and lived good for the rest of his life. And he had a dad who went to school, got all degrees, and didn't make above a certain amount of my money a year, definitely way less than six figures a year. But one created something and one that did not. You're not waiting to get hired by anyone when you create your business. You're becoming the one that's doing the hiring. See, the guy who went to get the job, like, it's good to see black men going out there and they're getting the VP level jobs. They're getting the C level, the chief level jobs. That's great. That is great. They give something other young black men can aspire to if they chose to get that path. But why not be able to still be that C level executive, but with your own company? Everybody's not going to go to college. Remember, it's what I said earlier. Not every black man is built for the classroom, and that is not a bad thing. But college isn't always a legacy path, because what I notice in college is when you go to college, only legacy path I've seen in college is when black men pledge the same fraternity as their fathers pledged. That's the only legacy I've seen. They were able to pass down their fraternity jacket or something that to them, or a shirt they may have had, or a cane or whatever. That's the only thing I've seen legacy passed down. But degrees are good, but let's definitely stop pretending that that's the only sign of success, because there are people, and I've met plenty of them, who didn't have degrees and made more than people who had multiple degrees. Too many brothers go into chasing prestige, and not enough of us go into chasing a purpose. I want this video to touch a mother whose son is on his way to college. Why are you going to college? Explain to me why you're going to accumulate this much debt. What is the benefits of this? Do the benefits outweigh the cost? Mothers, fathers, it's time to start questioning your kids. Stop wasting your time and resources going to college to get something if you know that it's not going to pay off for you. A degree does not always equal security. It does not always equal ownership. It does not always equal control. Because here's the thing, people, a trade plus smart business moves, that is generational wealth right there with no cap. Think about that for a second. 50, 60 years from now, you who are in school, are you creating something that can be passed down to your future family? Or you just going to get it because your friends are going to get it and you think you're going to get a high paying job? If you're going to college, make sure it's for a degree that's going to have a purpose. Now, I understand you want to be an attorney, a doctor. I understand that part. You have to go to school for those type of specialty jobs. A cardiovascular surgeon, an anesthesiologist, a neurosurgeon. I understand that requires college. Better get your degree for that. But somebody opening up a security company, somebody opening up an IT consulting company, somebody opening up in the construction business, somebody opening up some kind of hospitality management hotel business, a trade, smart business moves, generational wealth. But this matters in relationships, people, because here's where I wanted to hit it. I want this to hit somebody's soul. And if this makes somebody upset, it is what it is. But it's not just about the work that is going in this, but it's also about the kind of man you are in a relationship. I have great conversations with people, other fathers out here, who making ends meet. They're figuring it out. They're creating business. It's taking them a little bit longer, and they're fine with that. But a man with the trade can provide, create, and lead without being chained to a corporate structure. It's not for everyone. It's not what it's all meant to be. Every one of you is not going to make it up there. But those of you who do not, a man with a chain with a trade can do that. But he also can bring in the energy that's going to be able to create stability, because here's the thing: corporate America will, not just can, corporate America will fire you at some point in time in your life. What are you going to do behind that? But that man that has his own business, he's creating that stability for the relationships and the family that he has down the line. Because here's the thing: women, what I think happens is women respect consistency from a man. They respect the vision, they respect the growth, not just the titles. What we see a lot of on social media is a lot of women saying they want a man who's making six figures a year, but they can't tell you the type of job that that man works. See, they're all thinking the one in the suit that drives the nice car. That's not it. But we gotta take a look at this, people. We gotta stop downplaying these skilled brothers just because they didn't go to college. And being a person like myself who went to college by accident, I wanted to do something completely different. It was a backup. College was a backup plan for me, but everything just it or what worked out. But here's the thing: what I got out of it, I got degrees that I can use that were skillful. I got the experience. I got the trade. I got one of those trades that I listed in there. I have. It's not as hard as what people make it seem like it is, but a brother with a tool belt might build more wealth than someone in a suit. Let me throw that at you again. A brother with a tool belt might build more wealth than someone in a suit. I want us to do better than what we are with brothers. Because here's the thing: by me talking to the brothers and putting it out here, we got our corporate brothers up there. They know how to talk the game, they know how to work the magic, they know how to work in corporate America. But the brothers who are skilled do not necessarily always get placed into the limelight. And this is not going against you all. This is a point. This is the video to bring us together, people, because we actually need it amongst one another. We have to stop this. If we can get our stuff together, fellas, imagine the type of families that we can create with our sisters. It's a no-brainer. This doesn't require disrespect. It doesn't require the TikTok videos of us going back and forth. It doesn't even require all that. Fellas, if we get our stuff together, we'll definitely we'll run into eventually and see the ladies that we need to be with to build our families with. I'm not speaking to you only just about what I've seen. I'm speaking to you about what I know, because I'm very passionate about bringing couples together. This video is hitting somebody out there. I want you all to definitely put your comments respectfully below. This is a wake up call. We absolutely need this. Here's the thing: let's teach the young men out here to find a purpose first. And then once they have that, then pick the path. Do not pick the path before the purpose. Let me throw that at you again. Let's teach the young men to find a purpose first before they pick the path. That is what we need. So whether college or trade, it should support a vision, not just an image. I'm telling you all, this video is going to help somebody, whether you see it a year from now, 2 years from now, 5 years from now, 10 years from now. This is going to help the men in our community. This is the positive message stuff that I'm talking about. I'm real serious about this. If you are a black man trying to figure it out, don't let the world box you in. A skill, a hustle, if you want to call it that, and a heart for legacy can take you further than any piece of paper. And for the women that's watching this, honor the builder, not just the title. That is going to hit. I throw it at you again, ladies, because I know you listen to it. I know you tapping in too. For you ladies out there that's watching this video, because I know you should be able to pass this down to your nephew, your cousin, or whatever. But for the ladies watching this, honor the builder, not just the title. People, as always, I enjoy talking with you all. This video isn't about hate, but I want to make sure that I get to the talking about real issues that impact the black men out there and everything, because we have to build those strong families and strong relationships. So definitely like, listen, subscribe to the channel. Lifestyle by SK, where wine, cigars, and relationships create that tapestry of extraordinary experience. As always, people, you always know what I say. Have a good one.